Contribution soap. Contribute soap. Thinking about contributing, and it isn't always our money that we contribute, but contribution. This area or aspect of our life, and we've got the 7 areas and aspects of our life. Sharon Horne-Ellstrom, Get Up and Go Challenge, day 27 here. And we're going to talk about C, the contribution, if I can find it, in my little keychain. Oh, I didn't make it very big. It's still my little key on here. Why? Because usually it's a thing that people think of last, right? They forget about. We tend to forget about in our everyday lives how we impact other people, how we impact the world around us. And that's what I mean by contribution. What do you mean by contribution? When we look at the 7 areas of our life, physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, financial, relationships, and contribution is kind of the what's left in terms of how we affect the world around us, how we interact with it. It's not just our relationships, it's how do we add value to that world? How do we engage with other people in the world? We can, of course, donate our time and money. My granddaughter and I are collecting for a cause that she's interested in. But we can also contribute in other ways. The tool we're going to talk about today, I'm going to share that right up front, is something that's really fun. And I don't know if many individuals do this. I know that a lot of companies do it. A lot of businesses do it. A lot of brands do it. But they have a mantra or a motto that they live by. Now, we all have a code of conduct, whether we admit it or not, or share it or not, or acknowledge it or not. We all have ways of behaving that are consistent with who we believe that we are at any given time, what we stand for. And we're going to use the tool of, and I guess you can call it your mantra, your motto, your code of conduct, your battle cry, or whatever you want, whatever resonates and feels right for you. But we all have this, and we need to share it with the world. That's how we go out into the world and add value into the world. So we're going to use our SOAP framework today. Remember, our absolute positive SOAP framework to deal with challenges and changes. And we're going to use it and apply it to the area of contribution. How do we interact with, how do we impact and affect the world around us? And maybe it's up to each and every one of us to decide who and what and how big an impact we want to have. Maybe we're just here, and I guess it answers the question, the big questions. Why am I here? Why do I exist? What's my reason for living? Who do I want to impact? Who do I want to, and how do I want to impact them? Maybe your purpose here is to just impact a very tight-knit group of people. Maybe your impact here is just to become the best version of yourself, the best human being you can possibly be, and that will be an example for other people in the world. It's up to you to decide what that is and how big an influence you want to have on things outside of you. So what's the story we're telling ourselves? What do we want to impact? What is the S in our SOAP framework? What's the story or situation right now? What's our current situation with respect to impact? Now, I found that during COVID-19, it would be natural and for many people to just become very, very small, to hunker down, to become small, to move more into ourselves as the world around us is getting more chaotic. Sometimes we pull in and we don't impact the rest of the world. We take care of ourselves. We have to take care of ourselves first. It's not selfish to take care of your basic needs first. You need to do that. The reason they tell you to put on your air mask in the airplane first before you put it on children is for a reason. If you don't take care of yourself and your breathing, you can't help the child take care of their self and their breathing. And there's lots of examples of that in our lives. If we don't take care of our health, guess what? We can't take care of anyone else's health. We can't create and add value to anything in the world if we're not taking care of our physical well-being. So what is a story that you're currently telling yourself about the area of contribution? One of the most common things, and I've been guilty of this as well, is people will say, well, I will donate to charity, or I will give money to my church, or I will give money and help other people when I can afford it. There's a couple schools of thought on that. You know what? When you can afford it, pretty much never comes, because we tend to expand our expenses to the amount of income that we have. It's human nature. We live in an expansive universe, and nature abhors a vacuum. So if you have time, if you have resources, you will find ways to spend them. Have you ever had a project where you had 3 weeks to do it and you didn't do anything on it until like 2 days or the night before? Guilty. It's human nature. We The jobs and the tasks at hand will expand to the amount of time we allot to them. That's why I'm a firm believer in, hey, set short term and break your goals into smaller chunks and smaller pieces. Because if you wait until your year goals and you wait till, December to start working toward your annual goals, you're in big trouble. So what's the current story you're telling ourselves? My current story is I help people with challenges. I help people to overcome challenges, especially people, business owners and people with chronic pain. Why? Because I've been a business owner for 47 plus years, and I've had chronic pain for just about 60 years. Probably not all 60, but from the time I was about 2 or 3 on, I had challenges, physical challenges and chronic pain. And so I like to help people with challenges, and especially during COVID-19, where everybody is facing incredible change and challenges that at the same time. There's always groups of people going through challenges and having changes that impact them, but never so many simultaneously as in 2020. And that's where the Get Up and Go Challenge was born from. It was born from, okay, not only am I always going through changes, everybody's always going through changes, but here's a change that is impacting literally the entire planet simultaneously. When will we have an opportunity like this again? Like I said, my first tendency was to say, hey, let's stay really small and not really do anything or impact other people. But then I was like, that doesn't feel right for me. So what am I going to do? So currently doing Get Up and Go Challenge. What do I really want to do? That's what I'm currently doing. That's my story, my situation, my current state. That's some of the stuff I'm telling myself. But what is my ultimate desire? What do I really, really want to do and achieve with respect to the area of contribution? What kind of an impact do I want to make on the world? Now, this is hard to say, but, and most people are like, why would you even think that you can do that? And the first thing that comes up whenever we have a big goal or a big dream is all the little negative nudges come at us, not only from ourselves, but from ourselves initially, but then from other people as well. But for a while, especially since 2011, 2012, I have wanted to positively impact the lives of 1 billion people. And how do I want to do that? I'm still working on the how, but I know that I want to positively impact the lives of 1 billion people. And by impact, I mean in a positive way, in terms of helping them to know that their purpose here is to experience their life as only they uniquely can. If people would understand that just by being themselves and showing up as who they really are, that is a way to positively impact the world, because most people aren't doing that. Most people are going through life living what they think they should do and could do, and they're not living what they actually are capable of. So that's my big long-term goal and mission. So what are some options to help me get from where I am to where I want to go? Here I am, this little entrepreneur, little old lady business owner, doing challenges, and I want to positively impact the life of 1 billion people. What are some of the options or possible ways that I can do that? What are some ways to fill the gap from where I am to where I want to be? Well, I could start, and I have already done this, but I could start a more specific group, of like-minded people who want to positively impact and change the world. I can really find out and investigate what and how people want to impact and change the world, what kind of contributions they want to make, and then find ways for me to help them to do that. Maybe I could become a facilitator of different types of movements. I could look for other like-minded people, look for others who are already have similar interests that we can group together and combine our efforts to create that synergy that happens from people coming together and have a bigger impact on the world. It's part of why I work with business owners, because I realize that business owners and entrepreneurs automatically impact hundreds and thousands and tens of thousands, if not millions of lives with the products and goods and services that they provide. And so that's one of my favorite ways to contribute, is by helping business owners to grow and supersize their businesses, because that is a way to more positively impact the world, and on a magnified scale, not just me doing something, but if I help a business owner who has 1 million customers, now I'm indirectly impacting 1 million people, not just the one business owner that I'm interacting with and coaching and consulting with and working with. So what's an action I could take out of that? And again, I could brainstorm and I can work through all the different ways I could contribute and fill that gap. Uh, so one of the ways I like to is to build a framework and apply it to a group of people. So for a group of my business owners, for a group of people with chronic pain, for a group of get up and go people, which are like-minded people coming together to make their life and their world better and to handle changes and challenges better. That's what the SOAP framework is all about. So what's one thing and what's an action that I can take today to move me toward that? Post content to that group would be an action that moves me toward that long-term contribution vision that I have. And then progress. How do I know if I'm making a positive difference or not? How do I know? How do I measure whether I'm moving in the direction that I want to go or not? Well, basically through feedback and feelings and measuring and monitoring different aspects of how many people am I impacting? How many people are listening to my podcast? How many people have downloaded the podcast? How many people have watched the videos? And to be honest, I don't do a very good job of watching metrics with respect to contribution because I'm one of those people that think you should make the world a better place, but you don't need to tell the whole world about it. I do so many things and I don't tell anybody because it's nobody's business except the people that I do it with. I think I got that from in the network marketing industry. Yes, one of the industries I've been involved in. There was a lot of, especially as social media was new, and there still is in the online marketing world, which I'm also a part of. There's so much bragging and showmanship and show off and puffing oneself up. And I find it really raunchy, just my opinion, but people do awesome, nice things for people all the time. And then they go online and they talk about this wonderful thing they did. It always feels a little slimy to me and like they have an ulterior motive that they want people to give them more kudos and more feedback for the nice thing they did. I'd much rather see somebody else tell the story of how they did something nice than somebody telling it about themselves. And maybe that's just me and my own personal beliefs, but I think that we change the world in positive ways and be humble about it. We don't have to be showing off about it. Again, my personal opinion on it. And then there's the whole other side of the coin where if you don't sing your praises and speak out, and that's more of a business side, if you don't tell people about how awesome you are, they're not going to know. Well, it's still always better to have your people that you've helped tell people how awesome you are than you tell people how awesome you are. I don't know. All right, off topic. So, SOAP framework. What are we going to do with this today? I want you to think of how you want to impact and change the world. Maybe it's just a small way. Maybe you want to donate an hour of your time or help with a group that you're really interested in helping out. I know my son, after his grandpa died, my ex-husband's father died of Parkinson's disease and Alzheimer's a couple of years ago. And after that, my son donated his time and energy and worked in hospice with people that were dying for a couple of years and went and just spent time with them because that was something that he could do that made him feel better about his grandfather's passing. Personally, I couldn't do that. It would be really hard for me. But for him, it made him feel better. So each of us need to find what works for us and how we want to connect and contribute and be a part of something outside of ourselves. Secret, one of the best ways to get over challenges and changes and feelings of negativity or depression or lack or scarcity is to help other people, give value to other people, give value to something else, do something outside of yourself, contribute to somebody, either your time, your energy, your expertise, to someone else. You know, helping an old lady across the street will make you feel as good as it helps the old lady across the street. No, that was a funny example, since now I'm the old lady that needs help across the street. So do this, run through the SOAP framework, run through the S, the O, the A, and the P for something that will help you get from where you are now, the story you're telling yourself right now, to where you want to be. And again, I shared my great big, my BHAG, my big, hairy, audacious goal. That's my big, hairy, audacious goal. I think that that's why I am still here after 2010, is because I know that I'm supposed to do more and have more impact than I was having in the life that I was living before my sudden cardiac arrest. So run through the SOAP framework. And then I am challenging you today to think about what you stand for. What is at your core and your being? And what is, if you've had, and maybe you've never thought about this before, do I have a motto or a mantra or a code of conduct? Or what do I really stand for? What are things that I am so, I believe in so strongly and fiercely that I stand for them? Even if I'm scared, I stand up for those things. Even if I'm scared, I stand up for freedom and life in America and being able to do and say and create what it is that we want in our lives. I stand up for that at my very core. And my mantra, I'll share my mantra with you. My mantra has been my mantra for at least probably over a decade. Probably, I think it was even before I had my sudden cardiac arrest. And it's the same still today. It's be loving, love being, be you. And it sounds really simple, but it probably took me a couple of years of development to come up with that and realize that there's a whole lot more in that little 6-word phrase or saying, or I guess it's 3 little sentences: be loving, love being, be you. There's a whole lot built into that motto and that saying and what it means to me, but too complicated to get into today. But that's mine: be loving, love being, be you. What is your motto? What is your mantra? What is something that you feel at your very core? And if you've never done it before, just start thinking about it, because it is really powerful. But share in the comments below for your action item, one thing that you stand for, just one thing that you stand for. Or if you're brave, share your motto or your mantra. That's it. Have an amazing day. I will be with you tomorrow for day 28 of our Get Up and Go challenge. Get up and go do this and see how it makes you feel today. Take care. Bye.